250 days ago, I created a bait shop ecosystem. I set up a brackish tank for a blue crab that I rehabilitated. And I also bought some shrimp from the shop to save them and give our crab Shovel some tank mates. At first, everything was going great, but once our crab grew back his claws, his natural instincts kicked in, and our once rescued shrimp turned into prey for Shovel. So in this video, we're going to be rescuing the remaining shrimp and building them their very own setup with some cool new additions, more shrimp, and even a tough test for one of our predators. Before I set up a whole new tank, I need to quickly set up a temporary aquarium to get the shrimp that I have survived out of the tank. Using the water from Shovel's tank, I filled up the aquarium. That way we can move them over and the shrimp are not shocked since they have been in the same water. But water alone will not lead to an established tank. So I need to take something like one of these filters that have established bacteria that can stabilize this temporary home instantly. The only problem was Shovel loved to hang around this filter. I was waiting for him to be on the other side of the tank so I could remove the filter without him attacking. But I guess since I was in front of the tank a lot, he thought I was going to feed him. I decided I did not have time to waste and removed the filter with him close by. Luckily, he did not climb up and try to pinch me. But he did look really sad that his filter that he loved to climb on was gone. He didn't have to be sad for long though, because I put a new one back in and he instantly became attached to it. Now I could throw the established one into the temporary tank. The shrimp have really enjoyed the deep sand and reef rocks in Shovel's tank, but washing sand right now would take too long. Luckily, I still have some leftover rocks from the first build that I can add to the tank. When adding rocks this heavy, you should add something under them so they don't crack the bottom of the tank. I headed over to my supply box and found some egg crates that I can utilize to protect the bottom. Next, I looked through the selection of reef rocks we have to see which one I wanted for the two aquariums. I think this one with a nice flat base would fit perfectly, so I popped it in. Our temporary home is complete. So I got our two shrimp into a bucket and moved them over. I dropped the shrimp into their holding tank. This holding tank isn't their forever home, but it gives us time to work on something bigger, something worthy of these incredible creatures. So many of you in the last crab video wanted me to build them their own space, and now we're one step closer to making that happen. The next phase is going to be all about designing their permanent aquarium, with the right substrate, live plants, and plenty of structure for climbing and hiding. I put a top on the 10-gallon and got to finding a good spot for the next home. When I set up Shovel's home, I built him a custom stand. And right under it, I added a section that can hold stuff for storage. But it actually fits a tank perfectly. Now that the tank is in place, something really cool hit me. We've officially got all our bait shop rescues on one stand. I placed some more egg crates on the bottom of the tank and got out our selected rocks, both circular in shape, which is going to give the aquascape a really unique look and give the shrimp somewhere to hide and explore. With the rocks in place, I got to washing the shrimp some sand. They really loved it in Shovel's tank, so I made sure to prepare a lot for their new home. With all the sand in the tank, I made sure to scape it higher towards the back and get it all leveled. Now the tank has a couple inches of depth all around. I went ahead and got our tank filled up and added some water conditioner. For this setup, I got two double bio sponge filters, more than enough for this setup. Once those were installed and running, it was time to mix some instant ocean salt. You should mix the salt before adding water to the tank, but right now nothing's in the tank, and I'm going to make sure the salt dissolves completely. Finally, we need to add some beneficial bacteria to help kickstart the tank. Both of these brands make good products, but stability should be used when you're using salt water. Now with our foundation set, I went online to order something special to make this tank unique. Coming up, we'll be unboxing a mystery box of microalgae to enhance this shrimp tank. While I was waiting for our package to arrive, I checked on our shrimp daily. This was their first time having their own space away from the crab in the main tank. I could tell they missed the sand that was available in Shovel's tank, but I don't think they missed Shovel. One morning, when I went to check on the shrimp in their temporary home, I found one of the shrimp munching on a shrimp molt at the front of the tank. This was the first time I had seen one of the bait shop shrimp successfully molt. The only animal from the bait shop that was able to complete a molt was Shovel when he grew back his claws. I was so happy to see our shrimp were thriving. Our little guy took advantage and consumed the molt to get some calcium from it, just like they did when they ate some of Shovel's molt. That same day, our package of randomly assorted marine plants arrived. I couldn't wait to see what we got inside, but I was also a little nervous. Macroalgae doesn't always handle shipping well, and I had no idea what condition these plants would be in. It looks like everything is okay for now. Since I didn't select any specific species, this was a true mystery box. Luckily, we got a mix of red and green plants to help our tank pop. I placed each package into the tank so they could get acclimated to the temperature. After waiting for about 20 minutes, I opened them up one by one and gave each a quick inspection to make sure it survived the trip. Then I slowly poured in some of the tank water and then got to planting them. I've always wanted to have some macroalgae in a tank. I love my freshwater plants, and this was the equivalent to what I have in my freshwater setups, but in the saltwater world. The macroalgae doesn't just look awesome, it is also going to help maintain our shrimp tank. Before I put the plants in the tank, I actually did something called ghost feeding. I added a small amount of food to the tank, and as it decomposes, it helps kickstart the nitrogen cycle. A while after the plants were in the tank, it became established and was ready for our shrimp to be moved. One by one, I lowered the shrimp into their new home with my net. Once each of the shrimp got into the tank, they instantly burrowed into the sand. These guys definitely missed having sand in their enclosure. This burrowing behavior helps them feel safe, so they get used to their new surroundings. As these shrimp get used to their new home, I went out and bought a couple more from the bait shop. This tank can definitely hold more than just 2 shrimp that we originally had. I got our new shrimp acclimated to the tank and dropped them in. And not to my surprise, the new shrimp dug themselves straight into the sand. Now with their shrimp tank full of shrimp, I decided to leave them to settle in. Coming up, our crab is facing his biggest challenge yet. With his new claws fully grown back, we are giving him a live clam to see if he's strong enough to crack it open. Alright, it has been a little bit since we added all the shrimp. Over the past few days, they have really started to settle in. And it has been amazing to watch the transformation. Now that they are in this shrimp-only tank, I can really get a chance to observe how these creatures act. At first, the shrimp were hiding a lot when they first went into the tank. But now, as the days pass, you can see them starting to gain confidence. More and more, they're venturing out into the open, exploring every inch of the tank. They'll crawl along the substrate, climb up the plants, and even swim in the water column when they feel bold enough. It's been really cool to see the mix of the original shrimp and the newcomers all come together in this tank. They're starting to act like a real colony. One of the funniest things I've noticed is just how much the shrimp love hanging out on the sponge filters. At first, I thought they were just using it as a resting spot. But the more I watched, the more it made sense. The sponge filter is basically their all-you-can-eat buffet. It collects tiny bits of leftover food and grows layers of biofilm and microorganisms, which are like mini snacks for a shrimp. They'll spend hours climbing all over these little pores and picking at the surface. Speaking of food, I have been taking things slow. Shrimp are scavengers by nature, so they'll spend most of the day picking at biofilm, algae, and tiny bits of food they find on their own. I am hoping they can clean up a lot of the algae that has been growing all over the sand. But since most of the shrimp are new in here, and just came from a place that wasn't keeping them as pets, they probably haven't had a big meal in a while. If I overfeed them, they could die. So I've been supplementing their diet just a little bit at a time. I'll drop in a small piece of food like algae wafers to build them back up before I start a feeding frenzy in here. And now that the shrimp are doing well and settling into their new home, it's finally time to switch gears. We're heading to the grocery store to pick up live clams, Shovel's biggest challenge yet, with his brand new claws. I headed to the back where they had the seafood section. There was plenty to choose from, but I went straight for the clams. Leave a comment down below if you want me to come back and give him something else from here. I got back to the lab with our clams bagged up. I bought 3 just in case he really likes them. Live clams are perfect for crabs. It's a natural way for him to use his claws and stay active. When I first dropped the clam in, he immediately got to work. He clawed at it non-stop, flipped it over, and was giving it his all to open it up. This wasn't going to be easy, so he took multiple breaks in between, almost like he was trying to catch his breath. During his break, it even looked like he was either frustrated with me or wanted me to help him. Despite the frustration, he kept coming back to it, testing different angles and strategies. It was so cool to see him try to problem solve. After a while, I decided to give him a tiny bit of help. I used a knife to crack it open and then threw it back in. Finally, after fighting with the clam, he was able to start digging in. Shovel devoured that clam with his claws, tearing out massive chunks. He was moving fast. You could tell he liked it. Plus, he was probably super hungry after all the effort he put in when he was trying to open it up himself. I took out the clam when he was done to get a closer look. The clam was basically cleaned out. It was a good thing I got 2 more for him. Hopefully that helps him molt again soon, because during his last molt, he lost a leg, and it's slowly starting to grow back. But he needs to complete another molt for it to truly form again. Now with the shovel fed, it was finally time we could feed our shrimp down below a big meal. Frozen brine shrimp cubes are perfect for this. They're packed with protein and easy for the shrimp to graze on. Hopefully when I throw some into the tank, it gets the shrimp going. Right now, they are all submerged into the sand. I popped one into the tank and it just started floating. So, using my tongs, I broke the cube up, scattering brine shrimp everywhere. And instantly, a shrimp came flying over the macroalgae to start feasting. The shrimp was trying to grab as many as possible. I thought for sure the other shrimp would pop up out of the sand any second now, but to my surprise, they just let the brine shrimp fall all over them. Finally, after a few minutes, the tank was filled with the shrimp feasting all over the place. I was so happy to see our shrimp enjoying a good meal as a colony. These shrimp were going to be used as bait, but now they have their very own aquarium to explore and thrive in. My favorite part of watching the shrimp eat was how fast they would move all those arms around, just searching through the sand for the brine shrimp. I would also find some of the shrimp eating while swimming up at the top of the tank. Shrimp do this to make sure they get away from other shrimp so they don't have their food stolen. I'm glad I was able to put this tank together and give you guys another update on everyone. Please like and subscribe to help support the channel, and click right here for another great video.